Good morning, everyone. I am going to continue the discussion about non preemptive priority scheduling. We'll start right away with our first example. In this example, we have four processes with CPU burst times and assigned priorities. We can conclude that all process occurs at the same time kasi walang arrival time. Itong first example natin. Now, we can look for the lowest priority number first. P4 has the highest priority since its assigned priority is 1. After the CPU completes P4 entirely, it processes P1, P2, and P3 based on their priorities. The Gantt chart illustrates this sequence. P1 is next with the second highest priority. After P1 is completed, the CPU compares P2 and P3. P2 seems to have more urgency since it has a lower priority number compared to P3. And a lower number in priority means it has the highest priority. And remember, in priority scheduling, the CPU always looks at the priority first. In this Gantt chart, It's you can see that it starts with 0, then P4 is completed with a burst time of 5. 0 as the starting time plus the burst time, which is 5, is equals to 5. So P4 is completed at time 5. That is also how the rest of the completion time is calculated. P1 starts after P4. So 5 plus the burst time of P1, which is 9, is equals to 14. Next is P2 with a burst time of 6. That is started at 14. So 14 plus 6 is 20. P3 is the last and starts at time 20. Because 20 plus burst time of P3, which is 2, is equals to 22. So the CPU processing ended at time 22. So yes po, parang kagaya lang din siya ng naunang CPU scheduling algorithm, FCFS and SJN. The only difference is may assign priority, see priority scheduling, because this algorithm scheduled CPU based on the priority. In calculating the turnaround time, average turnaround time, waiting time, and average waiting time, it follows the same method as first come first serve and short job next. We have more examples, so let's discuss that later on. The next example here has the same burst time but different priorities. And I want to show you that the whole calculation changes because of that. The Gantt chart changes and so do the turnaround time and waiting time. Now for a third example. This time the processes do not arrive at the same time. They have arrival times. With four processes arriving at a different time, ano kaya uunahin ni CPU i-process? Ano bang dapat unahin ni CPU? Using the priority scheduling algorithm, the CPU will look at the priority assigned to the processes. However, in this case, P1 arrived first with an arrival time of 0, meaning that even though its priority is 3, the CPU doesn't need to wait and will process it first. Look at the Gantt chart po. You'll see that P1 finishes at 13 because it starts at 0 and has a burst time of 13. So 0 plus 13 is 13. At time 13 before it finishes, P2, P3, and P4 arrive. And since it's non-preemptive, The CPU does not stop processing P1 even if higher priority processes arrive. So, kasi no putol sa non-preemptive, si CPU na nagpa-process ng P1, hindi siya naputol kahit pa dumating si P2, P3, and P4. Kahit pa may pagpipili, meron mas mataas na priority kay P1. After P1 finishes at time 13, the CPU compares all the processes that arrive and are waiting in the ready queue. P3, which has the lowest priority number, is the highest priority. P3 is completed at time 16. Starting at 13 plus first time of P3, which is 3, will be equal to 16. Now we have P2 and P4 left waiting. P2 is processed first since it has a lower assigned number than P4. P4 processed last not because it arrived last, but because it has priority number 4, which is the highest priority number in this problem. In priority scheduling, the process with the lowest numbers goes first, so the highest number is last to be processed. Let's have a quick recap. Turnaround time is calculated by completion time subtracted to the arrival time. So, sa bawat process, in each of the process, kunin mo lang yung completion time which is nasa Gantt chart na, and then i-minus mo lang yun sa arrival time. Isa-isa sa bawat process. So, in the Gantt chart, P1 is done at 13. So, 13, 16, 21, and 28 are the completion times. To calculate it easily, arrange the processes in order according to their process ID. In the Gantt chart, P2 has 21, P3 has 16, and P4 has 28. The arrival time given in the table is all you need to know the turnaround time of each process. For P1, P3 is 13 is the completion time, subtracted from 0, which is the arrival time of P1, giving a turnaround time of 13. P2 is 21, subtracted from 1, giving 20, and so on. To get the average turnaround time, add all the turnaround time and then divide by the number of processes. In our example, we have 4 processes. The turnaround time of P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus P4 is equal to 72. Divided by 4 is equals 18. So 18 is the average turnaround time. For waiting time, use the turnaround time results you have calculated, then subtract the burst time of each process. Add all the waiting times and divide by the number of processes. The average waiting time for a third example is 9.5. Let's now go to our fourth and last example. We have 5 processes with arrival times, burst times, and priorities. The priority assignment here for P2 and P4 is both 3. Makita nyo sa reticule na priority ng P2 and P4 ay pareho. And if this happens, the CPU can look at the arrival time. P2 and P4 have the same priority of 3, but they have different arrival times. So in this case, the FCFS method can be used basing on the arrival time. So in the Gantt chart, it shows that P2 is processed first before P4. P2 arrives at time 13, while P4 arrives at time 8. Okay, P1 arrives at time 0 and finishes at time 11. Although it is originally assigned a priority of 2, P1 is the only process waiting in the ready queue. While P1 is being processed, P2, P3, and P4 arrive. P5 arrive later at time 12. And since there are many processes in the ready queue, the CPU now has options. Among the options, P3 is processed first because it has the priority number 1, the lowest among all processes. P3 is done at time 16 because 11 plus 5 is 16. The CPU look for the next process. The candidates are P2, P4, and P5. P2 goes first because it arrived before P4, even though they have the same priority. P2 finishes at time 19, then P4 is processed at 19, plus its burst time, which is 6, ending at 25. So, ayun nga, nauna si P2 kasi nauna siya mag-arrive. Si P4 ang sumunod na merong burst time na 9 na merong burst time na 6. So, 19 siya nag-start. 6 yung burst time niya. So, 19 plus 6 will be 25. Finally, P5 with a priority of 4 completes at time 27. To finish the calculation, get the turnaround time for each process and the waiting time. Same formula, completion time minus arrival time to get the turnaround time individually. Look at the Gantt chart and just check the arrival times in the table. Here P1 is 11 minus 0. 11 is the burst time minus arrival time of P1, which is 0. P2 is 19 minus 3. P3 is 16 minus 6. P4 25 minus 8. P5 27 minus 12. Get the average by adding all the turnaround times and dividing by 5. And since there are 5 processes, the answer here is 13.8. Now, let's proceed with the waiting time, which is the turnaround time minus burst time. The turnaround times are 11, 16, 10, 17, and 15. Again, nakuha siya sa sagot mula sa calculation na ginawa natin for getting the turnaround time. Now, refer for the table for burst times and just subtract them. P1 has a turnaround time of 11 but also a burst time of 11. This happens because it started at 0. And that will be all for non-preemptive priority scheduling.